I'm the annoyed movie critic. I remember it because you probably don't want to. And that doesn't sound at all like any other internet critic's opening remarks, now does it? Today, we're going to look back at 2003, when Eddie Murphy's career was still in trouble, in The Haunted Mansion.
Based on the popular Disney theme park attraction, The Haunted Mansion was yet another attempt by Disney to adapt one of their rides into a film.
It didn't quite work, so let's see what horrid haunts await us in The Haunted Mansion.
So, after seeing the Disney castle turn to rot, the film gives us this friendly greeting.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Well, how's that for insulting your audience?
As the credits roll, we see the mansion before it was haunted at a masquerade ball years ago. We see a young lady write a letter to her fiancé, who is also the head of the mansion, Master Gracie.
And then she dies!
Gracie understandably doesn't take this very well.
Having fun yet, kiddies?
Actually, this movie does sometimes push the limits of a usual Disney movie, so when it aired on the Disney Channel, they offered this warning.
The following film contains intense and scary sequences involving smelly zombies, skeletons, smelly zombie skeletons, hitchhiking ghosts, dark hallways, a creepy guy named Master Gracie, and a head floating in a crystal ball, which is kinda cool but kinda spooky. This is why it's rated TV PG.
So this is what the mansion looks like today, as a random kid on a bicycle shows up, only to be scared by the ghost of a random gust of wind. I just came to set up the transition shot. So we transition to Eddie Murphy as Jim Evers, a real estate agent who is in the middle of trying to sell a house.
There aren't enough plugs.
Get some extension cords.
I am totally committed to finding the perfect house for you, and I don't care how long it takes. Because at Evers and Evers, we want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
And Evers, and Evers, and Evers, and Evers.
While he's in the middle of this, Jim's wife calls, and he makes it sound like she's a client interested in buying the house, so he can sell to these two customers.
Pretty shrewd method.
Then Murphy goes to the Enchanted Tiki Bar?
I guess Disney didn't think that the Enchanted Tiki Room had enough cinematic potential for its own film. You know, unlike the Country Bears.
So Jim's talking to some other clients, who make sure that they're more obnoxious than Eddie Murphy's smile.
Oh, we love it here. We've been coming here for years.
It's like Hawaii.
Yes.
Oh, God, we spent our honeymoon there.
It was fantastic. Have you been?
No, never been there.
Promise me you'll go.
You promise.
Yeah, I promise I'll go if you sign. I will go to Hawaii if you sign.
Anniversary?
Yes, it's my
Happy anniversary!
Thank you. Sign never been here.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy, happy. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Sorry about that. No. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Random tiki reaction shots?
But on his way out, Jim is stopped by more potential clients and, being the neglectful husband he is, takes their offer.
A neglectful husband in a Disney comedy. We've never seen that before.
When he finally gets home, Jim is told just how much of a neglectful father he's been, and decides right then and there for a family trip to the lake.
What is it? There's a spider in my room.
There's a what?
There's a spider in my room. He's on the window.
Well, why don't you kill it, man?
That's a big spider.
All right, you get a good magazine. It doesn't matter what you use. Some people like to use Life or Time or News. Hey, this is my Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. What are you doing with it?
I don't know.
Wah, wah.
I like
Kill the spider.
Dad, I
can't crush it. I can't whack it. I can't do...
Hey.
There. Happy?
Well, it's a good thing he won't possibly come across any more spiders in this movie, seeing as how it takes place in an old, rotted building.
So Jim's wife, Sarah, gets a call to help sell an old mansion, Gracie Manor, and Jim, in the name of real estate, goes for it, as a detour before their vacation.
Look at the size of these knockers.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
We got a chandelier hanging up here, kids outside playing. It's a beautiful neighborhood. We ain't got nothing to wear. I really love them. This is really nice. Get out! Too bad we can't stay, baby.
But no, Eddie Murphy doesn't take his own advice and stays, where they're greeted by the manor's butler, Ramsley, played by Terrence Stamp.
Sarah Evers?
Yes, I'm Sarah.
Kneel before Zod!
They sit down to dinner, hosted by Edward Gracie.
Mr. Gracie, didn't you used to be the caretaker around here?
The Renaissance style of the mall.
And without really introducing them, we see the other two servants are played by Diana Waters and Wallace Shawn.
Inconceivable!
It sure is.
Finding the road washed out, the Evers are forced to spend the night. Sarah and Jim have a little argument over their current situation, and Ramsley informs Jim that he is wanted in the library. They talk for a prolonged time.
Mr. Evers, may I confide in you?
Please do.
I'm driving. On the road at night. I see two headlights coming toward me. Fast, I have this sudden impulse to turn the wheel quickly, head on into the oncoming car.
So Jim just starts stealing stuff off the place? Until he discovers a secret entrance.
Alright! Go through it already! It's right in front of you!
While he's getting trapped inside, the kids are suddenly confronted by a floating orb ghost thing, and they follow after it. So Jim finds an exit through a painting and walks past some digital references to the right, including a bus that looks like a lurch.
You right.
After going through a breathing door, he comes across a phone.
Hello?
Can you hear me now? Good. Ah, the Crypt Keeper!
So the kids continue to follow the orb ghost until they come across a picture of Gracie's fiancé, who, as it turns out, looks exactly like Sarah. But they then have to hide from Ramsley.
Put that cookie down! Now!
Jim eventually comes across Madame Leota, played by Jennifer Tilly, who ends up telling him nothing useful and eventually chases him off with a ghost band. He meets up with the kids and the servants, and they have to convince him to go back.
But Mom's in trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
For the curse to be lifted, the truth must be known. And for the truth to be known, you must find the key.
Okay, we're constantly talking about this curse in the movie. What exactly does it cause? Who put it there in the first place? Why is it there in the first place? You're being way too vague here, movie.
How do we get out of here?
Well,
There's always, my way.
Of course, we could have just gone out the back, but it's so less life-threatening.
So they ride through the cemetery, which is where we see most of what's on the actual ride. Enjoy it while you can, folks. The set design, makeup, and special effects are really the best part of this movie.
Hey! Hey, what are you doing here?
Can they see us?
No, of course not.
Yes, I can see. I'm looking at you right now in your stupid hat.
Don't listen to him. He's lying.
Well, who knew one of the ghosts there was an unfortunate test tube without retirement benefits?
So while trying to find out where they need to find the key that Madame Leota sent them for, guess who they come across?
The cryptos creak and the tombstones quake. Spooks come out for a swinging wake.
The singing bus!
The mausoleum was.
Down by the old mill stream where I first met
No, I think they said it was an old oak. That's what they said. It's by
by the light of the silvery moon, of the silvery moon.
Why are you singing every line? It sounds like this is a music hall.
So they figure it out for themselves.
It's a warning.
How do you know that?
I studied Latin for 3 years, Dad. You thought it was dumb, remember? You said it was a dead language.
Well, we see how wrong I was about that.
Wah, wah.
Inside the mausoleum, they find the right coffin and get the key.
Then...
And as they're trying to retrieve the key, even more zombies come out and... Jeez!
Things look much scarier than the skeletons in Pirates of the Caribbean, and yet these ended up in a PG movie. Unbelievable. It might be a good time to mention that the makeup for this film was done by Rick Baker. It's sad to see someone whose work used to be used for thriller and is now being used simply for filler.
But when they try to escape, Dr. Smith's security system must be activated because the door becomes covered by...
Spiders! A giant legion of spiders!
Good thing Michael gets over his fear. Back in the mansion, the key unlocks a trunk, where we find out...
The butler did it? You gotta be kidding me.
Get any more cliche than that?
Why'd you kill her?
Well, of course, the real reasoning would involve the unspoken of problems that an interracial marriage would have caused back then, but what with Disney trying to make sure that Song of the South fades into history, I don't think they're going to go anywhere near any slightly racially involved problems. So let's just say it was his duty.
Edward and his love will be reunited, and this curse will be broken.
Why? Why will that break the curse? So the curse directly involves them, and I guess, okay, I figured it out, I figured out for myself. I guess the curse just involved that everyone at the house can't leave until he's reunited with his love and all, and they're all ghosts. But where did the hundreds of other people come from? I mean, why are their ghosts still there? I doubt there were hundreds of people living there at the time. I mean, You're not going to explain any of this, are you, movie?